Well, good Sunday evening. This is meteorologist Kerry Cooper on a cold night across southeast Texas tonight. We have temperatures in the mid to upper 20s out there right now on our roofing 911 Skycam network up in Jasper, sponsored by Provalis. The roads looking a little bit better than they did earlier. We've got some drier air working in as even colder air works in. We're also getting drier air, so that's going to I'll lap up some of that water that's on the roads tonight, kind of evaporate it even more. I think roads are going to be in pretty good shape, even up in the lakes area tomorrow morning. Maybe some exceptions, some elevated roadways, bridges, or overpasses be about it. Certainly no issues with roads expected in the Triangle. Pretty good shape, but boy, it is awful cold out there up in the lakes area right now. You're seeing temperatures in the middle 20s. You'll drop to about 20, 21 in the morning as we clear out later tonight into tomorrow morning. Now, of course, the lakes area, you saw the freezing rain. Unfortunately, here in the Triangle, we were very fortunate. The freeze line got just north of Interstate 10. We stayed around 33, 34. Kept all of our precipitation liquid this morning. Some good rains overnight, too. Even some thunderstorms mixed in with that. So these last two rain events we've had, some areas have had over 4 inches of rain. So we have put a nice dent in the drought here locally. Very, very good news. Now, the lakes area, you could certainly use some more rainfall. You didn't get quite as much rain as the Triangle, but looks pretty dry now coming up for the next several days, but certainly awful cold, that's for sure. And up there right now, as we said, we have temperatures running in the mid 20s. You'll drop on down to about 20, 21 up there later tonight. Hard freeze tonight, weather impact alert for tonight and tomorrow night due to extremely cold temperatures, not record lows, but boy, they sure are cold. This is true Arctic air that we're dealing with. You can feel it. Of course, we clear out later tonight, and certainly a lot of sun expected, certainly by mid to late morning tomorrow into the afternoon. And don't forget to download our 12 Plus app. Forecasts are updated on there every day, 7-day forecast with a lot of other weather details as well. It is a cold one tonight. Now, these temperatures you see along Interstate 10, Beaumont at 26. These are running a little bit too cold. Looks like about 2, maybe 3 degrees too cold. We're actually about 28, 29 in Beaumont, but these low to mid 20s are pretty close in the lakes. Jasper, that's a little cold there. And they're actually running about 25 degrees, but it doesn't matter. It's cold. That wind chill will really, you can really feel. This is true Arctic air we have across the area coming up for tonight. And those dew points continue to drop too. There's a bone dry air north of the lakes area that'll be working in later tonight. That'll help also evaporate some of that moisture up on the roadways up in the lakes area coming up later tonight into tomorrow morning. Weather headlines: hard freeze tonight and tomorrow night. We'll see a little bit warmer weather by the middle of the week, which we'll show you a little bit later on our 7-day forecast. Temperatures up into the mid 50s. Boy, that'll seem like a heat wave coming up by Wednesday and Thursday ahead of another strong front. It has a little Arctic air with it too, but the good news with Friday's front, very little if any chance of rain, and there will be no threat of any frozen precipitation at all behind it on Saturday. Looks pretty good right now. Hopefully it'll stay that way. It should. We have a different flow coming up this weekend compared to what we had now, but certainly some good rains this morning. Some 1 to 2 inch rains fell again, and it was a cold rain too. All right, winds, now they've been a big deal. Let's take a look at current wind speeds first. That's 17 miles an hour here in Beaumont. You can certainly feel it. A little bit less up in Jasper, but it's still going to be high throughout the night, keeping those wind chills awful low, that's for sure. Getting some gusts to 17 Lake Charles. Oh, these are actual wind speeds, not even gusts. We'll get to the gusts in a minute. Wind sustained 17 over in Lake Charles, and here in Beaumont 20 down in Port Arthur. Of course, you get closer to the coast, it's more out in the open, you get even more wind on the coast. So imagine how uncomfortable it feels from Port Arthur southward, that's for sure. And the wind's still blowing pretty good north of Houston and in Houston up to Huntsville. It'll be a windy night, that's for sure, keeping those wind chills in the teens across southeast Texas tonight. Even over around Jennings, wind speeds around 14 miles an hour. Now, let's take a look at the wind gusts. We're gusting over 20 at times here in the Triangle. Still some gust, 16, 17 miles an hour. Look at overnight, just continues to gusts 15 to this is 6 o'clock tomorrow morning when we have temperatures in the lower to mid 20s. Still getting some gusts up to about 18, and you wonder why the wind chills are in the middle teens for tomorrow morning. Gusts still in the lakes area. So even with sunshine tomorrow, we clear out some later tonight. Then models are indicating some clouds kind of filling back in, and then we'll clear again mid to late morning. Even with full sunshine by late morning and all afternoon, it's going to be a struggle to get to 40. It's just true Arctic air because the winds really don't die down real good until late in the day coming up tomorrow. Late in the day. And it's going to be a cold night, a cold day tomorrow, even with sun. And tomorrow night, at least we won't have the wind, but it's going to be really cold tomorrow night with clear skies and low dew points, surface high pressure of the Arctic origin working down into Texas. We'll show you that too coming up in just a moment. Notice throughout the day tomorrow, we're still gusting 16, 17, 18. It's just, like I said, the only positive I see tomorrow, of course, we get above freezing. We'll be right around 40 for highs. At least it'll look warmer outside if you're having to look out a window or anything like that. At least we won't have all the clouds all day tomorrow like we've had today. It was just a miserable, miserable day. Don't get many days like this cold here in southeast Texas that often, and I'm ready for it to leave. I'm ready for spring and summer after what we've had over the past just 12 to 18 hours. Just pretty miserable out there, that's for sure. And notice by tomorrow evening, the winds finally start coming down. So with light winds and clear skies, we'll see lows in the upper teens to about 20 on a Tuesday morning, and then up to about 47 on a Tuesday afternoon. So that'll help a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. All right, at least through Tuesday and at night. Another thing too, don't forget the antifreeze in your vehicle. Actually, with it this cold, a lot of folks, including myself, forget to check that sometime. Be sure to check that. But remember the 4 Ps, very important. Remember that coming up. Not only, today, hopefully you took care of that today, tonight, and you'll have a little bit warmer weather tomorrow, not much, but then certainly for tomorrow night, then we'll get a little bit of a relief toward the middle portions of the week. All right, these are current wind chills, by the way. These are current. Feels like 14 in Jasper, 21 in Orange. Feels like 12 in Beaumont. A little bit windier down here right now. Feels like 14 in Port Arthur, 9 in Conroe. So you get the picture. It's a cold night, that's for sure. But at least all the precipitation's gone. Don't have to worry about that now. But it's winter time. It's supposed to be cold. Maybe not quite this cold, but still, it's winter time. It's supposed to be cold. It's January, but this is pretty cold stuff for southeast Texas. But as I mentioned a while ago, still not record low temperatures. Record lows, of course, if we're going tonight, low to mid 20s, and the records are in the teens. So no records tonight. And even, believe it or not, even tomorrow night, I don't think we have a record low, but cold enough. Like I said, it feels like 18 Lake Charles, feels like 12 here in Beaumont. All right, high pressure of the Arctic origin. This is Arctic surface high pressure, by the way, sagging southward into Texas. And it's 21 in Lufkin and Shreveport right now. There's still a lot of ice on the ground, too, in northeast Texas. Some snow still on the ground around Dallas. A lot of ice in this section, and that wind's coming right off that ice pack too, so that doesn't help either. It's 13 in Wichita Falls. Oklahoma City, you have a lot of snow on the ground. Some areas in and around Oklahoma City had close to a foot of snow. Imagine what it feels like there at 6 degrees with snow surrounding you and the wind blowing a little bit. Yeah, not very good. 16 in Amarillo, 9 in Lubbock, 11 in the Midland, Odessa area. Lake Charles at 30, and very dry air up in here too that's working on off to the south. That'll help evaporate what little water there is still left on the roadways coming up later tonight. Even Roswell, New Mexico. Look at that, 11 degrees. It is a cold one tonight, that's for sure. 27 over in Alexandria. So once again, we'll drop to the lower 20s to mid 20s later tonight, and with some sun tomorrow, warming up to around 40. That's it. There'll still be a lot of snow on the ground in Oklahoma, some ice on the ground mixed with some snow in North Texas. So that's another reason it's not going to warm up a whole lot tomorrow. Even with sun, you got that wind coming right off that snow and ice pack in northeast Texas. So look at that Tupelo 18. There's a lot of ice on the ground from northeastern Louisiana on up into northern Mississippi and Alabama. Cold stuff there, that's for sure. All right, here's a look at satellite. There's our Arctic high settling into the panhandle. It'll be overhead tomorrow night. A patch of snow moved right across Dallas over the last hour or so. Tail end of this disturbance finally moving out. Notice the low cloud deck here. Really see it nice. Of course, we're overcast. Back edge of the clouds from Monroe to just to the west of Shreveport, back down into east central Texas there, working on off to the southeast. So we may see some brief clearing late tonight, tomorrow morning. Then the clouds will kind of fill back in a little bit briefly, and then we'll clear out again for the day, late morning into the afternoon. Cold stuff. Even with the sun out tomorrow afternoon, like I said, we'll be close to 40 for highs. And what we could see tomorrow, you don't see this very often, over Toledo Bend, maybe even Sound Rayburn. Of course, some of the lakes in northeast Texas, the freshwater lakes. Of course, this air is very, very cold. So during the day tomorrow, as that very cold air rides over these lakes like Rayburn, Toledo Bend, the water is a lot warmer. It's cold, but it's a lot warmer than the air riding over the lakes. You could even see a few little clouds develop with a few little snow flurries in it. Usually doesn't last long, but a phenomenon we certainly do not see here very often. All right, freeze duration tonight, 27 hours for the lakes, but you've been below freezing since early afternoon. 19 hours for inland southeast Texas, 14 for the triangle. Don't forget to drip that water tonight. Don't forget your 4 Ps. And wake up tomorrow morning, low to mid 20s in the lakes, low to mid 20s in the triangle. Very, very cold, as I said. And of course, with those wind chills, it'll feel more like the teens. All right, tomorrow night, freeze duration, 19 hours, lakes area, 16 hours inland southeast Texas. That's Hardin County, southern Jasper, southern Newton County. Inland southeast Texas, about 16 hours, 13 hours tomorrow night for the triangle. So you get the picture here. Pretty cold stuff coming up and pretty long durations too. This will definitely burst pipes, that's for sure. And hopefully, if you have any exposed pipes outdoors, those have either been drained or wrapped. And I'm sure most people have taken care of that. As we said, Tuesday morning, even colder. 15 Burkeville, 17 Jasper, 15 Woodville, 16 Silsbee. Along Interstate 10, about 18, 19, maybe even a 17 here and there. Port Arthur at 20, Huntsville 16. So Tuesday morning is the coldest. The only good news about this, there'll be no wind. I don't have to worry about a wind chill on Tuesday morning. Thank goodness with temperatures like that. But yeah, that's some pipe busting temperatures. But Tuesday afternoon, we still have lots of sun. We'll see some increasing high clouds, but we should reach the mid to upper 40s on Tuesday. So it's slowly improving as we head toward the middle of the week. Marine forecast, you certainly don't want to do any boating right now offshore with that kind of wind and wind chill out in the Gulf. Small craft advisory, north wind still up to 25 knots, not only tonight, but tomorrow as well. Water temperature took a dive today down to 56 in the Gulf of Mexico. Tonight, mostly cloudy, some clearing toward morning. Overnight lows around 20, 21. Up in the lakes, around 23, 24. Along Interstate 10, Sabine Pass tonight, around 30. And for tomorrow, becoming sunny, a cold day, upper 30s lakes will go